All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the monthly meeting of the Cobb County Board of Zoning Appeals. And as is our custom at this time, I'm going to ask Officer Kevin Mallory if he would come forward. And if we'd all please rise, Kevin will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, this is the monthly meeting of the Cobb County Board of Zoning Appeals. For those of you that are here for the first time, let me give you a little insight on how we're going to conduct the meeting today. The first thing that we will concern ourselves with is the consent agenda. These are applications that not only this board has reviewed, but our professional and our engineering staff have also reviewed. To our knowledge, there's no known opposition to any of these particular cases. So the way we will proceed is Mr. John Peterson, our head zoning administrator, will read these cases into the record. The applicant, he or she, will identify themselves by raising their hand. Likewise, if there is anybody here in opposition, they also will identify themselves. If we do have any opposition to any of these cases, we will pull that case and hear it in its regular numeric order as it comes up. Next course of business is our regular agenda. The procedure will proceed the same way, where Mr. Peterson will read these into the record. The applicant and opposition will identify themselves. All those folks that are going to give testimony in these particular cases, they will be called forward. Our officer today is Ms. Kim Wakefield. Ms. Wakefield will swear you in. All testimony will be given to a podium to my right. At that time, the applicant will have a 10-minute period to make his presentation to this board, and likewise and collectively, those of you in opposition will have a 10-minute period to make your opposition known to this board. Once we complete that, that should complete our business for today. And with that said, I'm going to ask Mr. Peterson if he has any special comments or statements to make. John?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There are a couple of announcements I need to make before we start the hearing. There are two cases on today's agenda which will not be heard. Variance case V28, Derek Murray. That case has been withdrawn and will not be heard today. Variance case V3, Total Imaging. That case was continued by the staff. It will not be heard today. It will be heard next month at the variance hearing. I would like to ask people in today's audience to please turn your cell phones off. The ringing does interfere with the broadcast and presentations. So if you have a cell phone, please put it on silent mode. The following announcement concerns variance applications requesting a reduction in lot size for backyard chickens relating to the official code of Cobb County, Chapter 134, adopted by the Board of Commissioners on February 26, 2013, and amended on March 11, 2014. Applicants are advised that variance applications requesting a reduction in lot size, which are approved by the Board of Zoning Appeals, takes the form of a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners, who makes the final determination of whether to grant the special exception for the requested lot size reduction. There is one case on today's agenda which this applies, which is variance case V24, Jonathan Smith. The applicant is instructed that if the Board of Zoning Appeals approves this case, that a representative would need to be present at the Board of Commissioners zoning hearing on Tuesday, March 17, 2015 at 9 a.m. for a final determination. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'm ready to start the consent agenda.
Okay, let's just jump right in.
Yes, sir. Cobb County Board of Zoning Appeals, variance hearing consent agenda for February 11, 2015. Variance case V20, Richard and Ann Olson request a variance to waive the impervious surface from a maximum of 40% to 50% in land lot 848 of the 16th District. The property is located on the south side of Holcomb Lake Road, or Holcomb Lake Lane, south of Holcomb Lake Road. Staff recommends approval, subject to the maximum impervious surface to be 45%. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is present. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V20? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V22, Franklin L. Millines request a variance to waive the side setback from required 10 feet to 6 feet adjacent to the western property line. To waive the front setback from required 40 feet to 39 feet. To waive the minimum number of parking spaces from required 16 parking spaces to 6 parking spaces. And to waive the required 8-foot landscape enhancement strip along the entire road frontage in land lot 37 of the 17th district. The property is located on the north side of Puckett Drive, west of Veterans Memorial Highway. Staff recommends approval, subject to the following conditions. Letter from Mr. Garvis L. Sams Jr. dated January 12, 2015. Letter from the Mapleton Improvement Coalition dated January 23, 2015. And Cobb DOT comments and recommendations. The applicant is present. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V22? Are you opposed, sir?
Do we have anybody opposed to that particular case, V22?
Okay, the applicant is present. Let the record show there's no one opposed.
Okay.
Variance case V23, Jesse Marinko requests a variance to waive the maximum height of a fence adjacent to a public road right-of-way and within the required setback in a residential district from required 6 feet to 6 feet 6 inches in land lot 402 of the 16th district. The property is located at the southwest corner of Shallowford Road and North Hembry Road. Staff recommends approval of the variance, subject to the water comments. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V23? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V24, Jonathan Smith requests a variance to waive the side setback required 10 feet to 4.7 feet adjacent to the southern property line, and an authorization upon appeal related to the minimum lot size of 2 acres required to maintain poultry as pets or a food source in land lot 996 of the 19th district. The property is located on the west side of Brookwood Drive, north of Citizen Circle. Staff recommends approval of the variance, subject to a maximum of 3 hens. The chicken coop to be moved within 15 feet of the rear of the house, along the rear of the house. Approval is for 24 months. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is present. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V24? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V25, Habitat for Humanity of Northwest Metro Atlanta Incorporated request a variance to waive the minimum lot width at the right-of-way for an R20 area from required 75 feet to 73 feet. Waive the minimum lot width at the front setback line in an R20 area from required 75 feet to 72 feet. Waive the minimum lot width at the right-of-way for an RM12 area from required 75 feet to 69 feet. Waive the minimum lot width at the front setback line for the RM12 area from required 75 feet to 69 feet. Waive the exterior side setback adjacent to the east property line from required 20 feet to 10 feet. And waive the minimum lot area for the RM12 area from required 80,000 square feet to 79,279 square feet in land lot 41 of the 18th district. The property is located on the south side of Lee Road, west of Garner Road. Staff recommends approval, subject to site plan review comments and stormwater management division comments. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is present. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V25? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V26, the Providence Group of Georgia Custom Homes, LLC, request a variance to waive the front setbacks for lots 3, 4, 5, 16, 17, and 18 from required 35 feet to 26 feet, to waive the front setback for lot 11 from required 35 feet to 31 feet, and to waive the rear setbacks for lots 11 and 16 from required 35 feet to 15 feet, in land lots 318 and 319 of the 16th district. The property is located on both sides of Cochrane Lake Drive, north of Cochrane Lake Road, east of Stone Drive. Staff recommends approval, subject to site plan review comments, sewer comments, and access to the dam to be provided through Lot 4 for stormwater management prior to approval of the building permit for Lot 4. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V26? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V27, AG-MGP LLC, request a variance to waive the minimum number of parking spaces from required 206 parking spaces to 168 parking spaces in land lot 864 of the 16th district. and land lot 210 of the 20th District. The property is located on the northwest corner of White Circle and Cobb Parkway. Staff recommends approval, subject to the following conditions: site plan review comments, Cobb DOT comments, stormwater management comments, and historic preservation approval prior to the land disturbance permit. The applicant is present. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V27? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V29, LBS Group Incorporated, request a variance to waive the maximum allowable sign area from required 42 square feet to 76.24 square feet on the south elevation, which is the front of the building, in land lot 333 of the 20th District. The property is located on the north side of Dallas Highway, west of Largent Way. Staff recommends approval, subject to the following conditions. Attachment A received December 11th, 2014, and the sign rendering received December 11th, 2014. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V29? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V30, Robert and Lois Jackson, request a variance to waive the side setback from required 10 feet to 6 feet adjacent to the eastern property line in land lot 314 of the 20th District. The property is located on the south side of Carlin Court, west of Westwood Drive. Staff recommends approval, subject to the following conditions. Site plan received by the zoning division on December 11, 2014, for the encroachment shown on the site plan only. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V30? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V31, Hoover Foods, request a variance to waive the landscape enhancement strip from required 8 feet to 4.4 feet along Roswell Road and to 2.3 feet along LaCroix Drive in land lot 1029 of the 16th District. The property is located on the south corner of LaCroix Drive and Roswell Road. Staff recommends approval, subject to the site plan received by the zoning division on December 12, 2014. The applicant's representative is present. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V31? Let the record show there's no one opposed, and that completes the consent agenda, Mr. Chairman and Commissioner.
Okay, it's back to this board for discussion, so at this time, is there any comments from our fellow members? Christie, Ms. Trombetti.
I just have a question really quick for Mr. Peterson on V26. Wanted to make sure that the applicant was familiar with the stipulation you read about the access easement on Lot 4.
And I believe they've been talking to the Stormwater Management Division about that access through that lot.
Okay. We had discussed not including that as a variance stipulation in case the timing becomes a problem and they have.
Okay.
I wouldn't want them to have another variance.
Let's go ahead and
Because of the
strike
timing of
that
the
from the
building.
consent then.
I think that makes sense.
Okay.
I know they'll cooperate, but then it would require them to come back.
Okay,
again.
we'll take that off
Okay,
then.
thanks.
Thank you.
All right, other comments on any of the consent agenda? Not hearing any, and then I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of B26. As presented.
As amended.
No,
As
amended.
Amended, yes, okay. Do I have a second? Second, Mr. Gunther. Any other comments, discussions? Again, with keeping with the ordinance on V24, Jonathan, you know you have to come back February the 17th at 9 o'clock in this room. So with,
Yeah, March 17th.
I'm sorry, March 17th, corrected. Okay, with that said, I have a motion, I have a second, no other discussion, call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That carries for approval, Madam Secretary, with a 5-0 vote. Now, those of you that were here and you were on the consent agenda, your business is complete. You're welcome to stay, or if I were you, I'd go out and enjoy this beautiful day before the cold weather comes in. Great day to go golfing, so enjoy yourself and leave quietly. John, as they're leaving quietly, we have one other case to hear, and that's B21, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Variance case V21, Mo Esfani requests a variance to amend the stipulations of the previous variance case, V79 of 2014, to include, to allow 21 chickens, including 2 roosters. the current size and height of the coop to be accepted, installation of 6-foot wooden privacy fence around the chicken run, but not the chicken coop, and the roosters to be allowed out of the coop after 10 a.m. until sunset, located in land lots 669 and 670 of the 16th District. The property is located on the south side of Piedmont Forest Drive, east of East Piedmont Road. The applicant is present. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V21?
Anybody opposed to this particular case? All right, John, let's go. Let's proceed then.
Let the record show there's no one opposed. Would the applicant please come forward to be sworn in?
All right, sir, good afternoon. And the
Good afternoon.
purpose of the record, if you would, please give us your name and then tell us what you want.
Yes, my name is Mo Esfahani, residing at 2321 Piedmont Forest Drive, in Marietta, of course. Before we proceed, I have a CD of some pictures taken for the coop. They could be shown. Okay. Here we go. Thank you all for being here. Back in September 2014, this board was kind enough to approve my application regarding chickens. This approval, however, was subject to a number of unnecessary conditions that limit my family to enjoy our pets. They are also a burden on the animals themselves. There are actually a few items that are counterproductive. For example, should I build a coop as mandated in the variance, the result would be a very bizarre and unattractive structure, not even suitable to house the birds. Unfortunately, I did not get a chance to address the board regarding these flaws and shortcomings. I believe most of these restrictions stipulated in that variance were because of lack of communication between me, my neighbors, and the county. It was mainly caused because someone in my neighborhood is fiercely against chickens. Prior to my first variance hearing, this individual left anonymous flyers in mailboxes spreading misinformation or misleading information. They claimed that I was going to raise thousands of chickens on my property. This led to a number of emails from concerned residents to the office of Mrs. Joanne Burr. My true intentions are not clear. That is why many came forward in my support. Allow me to address this board about who I am and what my intentions are. This, I believe, would be helpful for the board to reach a fair decision. I am a northern gardener. I bought this property to fulfill my lifetime passion of gardening. A healthy, beautiful garden and a small flock of chickens complement one another in many different ways, too many to mention here. I am also a jeweler. I design jewelry. As a designer, I know a thing or two about proportions, symmetrics, and how to make things appealing to the eye. Usually, a chicken coop is synonymous with a structure tastelessly put together out of used, rusty, rotten material salvaged from torn-down buildings. My idea of a chicken coop is a beautiful building used to house the birds, but also an artful structure adding appeal to a garden. I have brought a few pictures of my chicken coop for you to see. Unfortunately, the building is not completed because I was ordered to stop building by the county. I have also asked an artist friend of mine to draw a rough sketch of how the completed project would look like. Do we have those? Are you seeing that? Okay. Imagine the chicken run part of the coop, which is actually a pergola, with climber roses grown all over it. Imagine it with colorful flower containers all around it, making it the focal point of my garden. It could easily win the title Chicken Coop of the Month by Backyard Chicken Magazine. Today, 4 of my dear neighbors have come to this gathering to support me. Anna and Gary, live right across the street from me, and Sandra and Mike are my immediate neighbors next door. There were a number of other neighbors who would have attended this meeting had I asked, but I decided enough people have been put out to help me with my ordeal. I asked these good neighbors to send the support emails instead. I now leave the stand to my friends to address the board. I would be glad to be called upon again should I need to answer any questions or concerns you might have regarding my application. Thank you for listening.
All right, Mo, you have a little time. Anything else you'd like to tell us?
I would like to leave whatever time I have left for my neighbors to.
Okay,
to address.
all right. All right, let's have the next speaker, please.
Okay.
If I have any other speakers that are going to speak, come up and be sworn in, and we won't waste any time. Sir, give us your name, please.
Gary Edwards. I'm Mo Estefani's right across the street neighbor.
Okay?
Have loved his family since they moved in. I've been in the neighborhood. I bought my house in 1998 and have been in the house since then. I'm also, I'm sure you guys are all Facebook members, but I'm one of the leads for the Facebook for the neighborhood, for the Facebook site, and I've got 17 names and a long string of messages from our Piedmont Forest neighbors in support of Mo. So I brought those with me if you guys would like to see support. I know a lot of you guys have also received letters because they copied me on a lot of the letters that they sent, I believe, to Ms. Trombetti. Most chickens are his pets. I have 2 dogs, a cat, and unfortunately I have a cockatiel that I inherited with my wife. But they're his pets. My dogs, my Australian Shepherd, my Wiener dog, bless his heart, not very bright, but very sweet. They're my pets. Most chickens are his family's pets. He doesn't run a business. His kids enjoy them. Mo, much to my chagrin, kisses the beak of his chickens. But they're his pets. I've seen 2 of them killed by dogs in the neighborhood that are loose, that are roaming around loose. And I saw the impact it had on Mo when one of his chickens were killed. Same as it would with a cat being killed outside or whatever. They're not a nuisance. As of right now, because they don't have a pen, they stay in his yard. I've never seen them cross the street into my yard. They stay. It's amazing once they get acclimated to the coop that they stay right there. The building that Mo put up, he spent a lot of time, effort, and money. It's not large. From the street side view, the large azalea bushes block almost all of it from view. And I could go to Home Depot and easily purchase a barn or a shed to put out back that's much larger than this and have it bright red or bright yellow or whatever, and that would really impact the neighborhood. Mo's taken a lot of time, effort, trying to make it fit in to the neighborhood scenery. We've got a very forested, lots of azaleas, lots of trees, so very good. If I can answer any questions from you guys.
Thank you very much. Time constraint. Let's have the next speaker, please. Give us your name, please, first.
Good afternoon. Guy Sturgis. I live at 2301 Piedmont Forest Drive. I've been there for 33 years. Mo's probably my 4th neighbor. I'm going to have the most direct contact with or I'm most directly affected by the chickens, and I have absolutely no problem with them. They're very quiet. You know, the neighbors complained about the roosters crowing. We very seldom ever hear them crowing. Certainly not nearly as annoying as the incessant barking by some of the neighbors' dogs. So as Mr. Edwards already testified, he does treat them like pets. I've seen him kissing his chickens. But I feel the same way about my animals, so I can understand the affection he has for them. So I would ask that y'all approve his request, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Sturgis. Okay, we're right on time, so I declare that part over. Is there anybody here wishing to speak in opposition to this case B21? Hearing and not seeing anybody, it's back to this board for discussion. And Miss Christy Trombetti represents this district, so Christy, if you would lead us in the discussion, please.
Okay, thank you. The photographs are really helpful to have today. I know I visited the property and had a chance to walk around with the birds out of the coop, actually. And it's a beautiful place, and I know some of the others of us have been out there as well, but these photos are helpful. The picture that we're looking at right now, I think, was taken from the driveway. The first one was from the street, and you could see that it's the building really blends in nicely. And then the second picture shows how the bushes pretty much screen the shed from the view if you're in the neighborhood or on the driveway of this property. So aesthetically, I don't think the building could be considered to have harmed anything. It is probably 1.5 feet taller than the 6 feet that was previously stipulated, but again, we can see it, and I think that, you know, especially in the spring and summer when all the trees bloom out again, it's really not an issue. One of the other stipulations that was required last time around that we're looking at changing here today is the architecture of the building. And it was stipulated that it be architecturally similar to the house. Well, Mr. Esfahani's house is contemporary in style. So I don't know, you know, the wood material might be similar, but I think to build a contemporary style shed, if you want to take that literally, wouldn't necessarily be the result that we thought we were going to get. And then with regard to the hours for the rooster, he has agreed to limit those hours or to keep them inside until 10 a.m. I think that's reasonable in the mornings when people are waking up and don't want to be woken by roosters. So I think what we have proposed by the applicant today is a very reasonable compromise. There were some emails received from people in opposition. I appreciate the time that your neighbors have taken to come here today and speak in the middle of the afternoon. The opposition emails had to do primarily, I think, with noise and the number of birds, but the question really isn't whether or not chickens could be allowed on the property because the acreage requirement is met. And I think the location of the coop is well away from anyone who could be affected, and then the next door neighbor most affected is here today. So those, I think, are issues that have been dealt with. Potential noise, again, limiting the rooster activity until after 10 a.m. is a good solution for that. So I think we have a nice proposal, and I really like the design of the coop. I look forward to driving by one day if this is approved and seeing how pretty it looks out there. Are there any other questions or
As back to this board, any other comments from board members? Christie, I think for informational purposes, you have indicated that he meets the acreage. His acreage is 2.3 acres, so there's no question about the chickens. And I wanted to say that for the public that may be watching this on TV.
Right.
The only difference in this is the design and build and the hours of the rooster. So I think you've got a good plan. I think Mr. Moe has done a good job in presenting his case. So it's back to you. I'm ready for a motion.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we approve V21, subject to the items submitted and dated September, well, no, the previous variance was September 10th. So subject to the letter presented by the applicant, replacing the all existing and previous conditions of the variance. Is that the right way to?
And, Commissioner Trombetti, probably gave you some bad advice on Monday about that, but we need to keep the old variance in place because
Okay.
there are things in there that don't relate to the chickens that we need to have on the
Okay.
record.
Right.
So let's just say that this letter dated September 10th, 2014 amends the things of the previous variance. And that letter's in here as your very last page.
So this letter, the variance is dated September 10th. That's the previous variance. So is this letter stamped November 26th?
Yes.
Would that be a better day?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right. So we are, I'm making a motion that we approve V21 to amend the previous variance according to this letter stamped, received November 26th.
Good.
Yes.
Okay.
Very good. All right, I've got a motion. Do I have a second?
I will second it with a question.
Question.
Did we make that subject to that drawing we saw, Christie? The
I
one
think-
that shows the screened-in part in the front? I like that building.
I think so, and Kim was just saying this privacy fence, we're not, maybe Mr. Esfahani needs to come back. We're not requiring the wooden privacy fence. but
No.
That's part of this
That's part of the
letter of November 26th.
Where is it in the letter?
The picture shows a fence around it, though.
Right, it's just not a wooden privacy.
No, no. Yes, the
Yes.
sketch.
Okay, this is actually, can it be shown again?
Cornelius, it might be wise just to take that and put it on the screen and do it that way, wouldn't it?
This one.
There you go.
Lori needs a copy. You need.
Yeah, that's it.
There you go.
Okay.
First I thought it was a screen, but it looks like a fence.
Okay, is that a
The lower
privacy-
part of the pergola is actually a fence, maybe a 4-foot fence.
Okay,
That, so the chickens will be covered, they're not gonna be, no one could see them.
okay.
So you're agreeable to building as presented?
Pretty much, it's a rough sketch, but yeah, it's gonna be 90% how it's shown here.
Well, you
If
could
that's-
win Coop of the Year with this drawing.
Yeah, it will be for sure, probably. It
So-
it is more than a coop, it's gonna be again, for focal point of my property, so.
So then I just wanted to be clear because we're amending the previous variance to this list from November 26th that I think you put together.
Correct.
And it says, okay, so what this says is that we're not doing the 6-foot fence. We'll replace that section of the letter with your drawing. Could you leave a copy of that here?
Yes, absolutely, I
As
have
a
actually.
representative example of the,
Sure.
And-
One copy would do?
yes.
All right, no, that's all right. Just stay there,
Yeah,
Mr.
just
Rowe.
pass it to the clerk
right.
down here.
So now, let's understand, what we're referring to is this letter that you submitted.
That, okay?
Okay.
Yes.
We're just gonna take out, Christie, if I follow you, we're gonna take out, on paragraph 3, we're gonna take take out the words installation of a 6-foot fence around the perimeter, is that correct? Is that what we're gonna take out?
The
And submit the drawing,
The previous condition for the 6-foot fence is being replaced by what he brought us today.
By the drawing.
As a
Correct.
representative of
Correct.
the coop and chicken run.
Right.
very good. Now, procedural-wise, is the second okay with that?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So I've got a motion, I've got a second. Now, Mo, I don't want you spending any more money coming back here. That pictorial that you're gonna submit to the clerk is basically what you're gonna do. Are you happy with that?
I am okay with that.
Okay. And Christie, you're happy with this, so everybody's happy?
Yes, sir.
We're gonna do a happy chicken dance here in 1 second. John?
I hate to mess up a great motion, but can we just say that the coop enclosure will be similar to what he submitted in that drawing?
Oh, yeah, yeah. You might
Similar.
have to change it a little bit.
The
I
word
don't have a
similar.
problem.
Let's go to Christie
Similar.
first. Christie, are you okay?
I think that's a good idea because it's a sketch. It's not to scale
that's
or
right.
anything. Okay.
And Judy, you're okay with the
Yes,
word
yes,
similar?
because it could change.
That covers when you started talking about 90%. I want to get you up to 99%. You understand what I'm doing? I'm trying to help you out. I don't want you to come back.
Appreciate
I don't want to see you again up here.
Neither do I.
Okay. I've got a motion, a good motion. I've got a terrific second. Any other comments? Not hearing any. A call for the vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye, any opposed? Carries for approval, 5-0. Again, Mr. Moe has 2.3 acres, so this is just an amendment to what we did previous.
Thank you. I understand.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, John, what else do we have to come before this board?
You have to
Okay.
adopt the minutes.
We have a couple of things just to finish off here today, and that would be our January the 26th special call meeting and also our February the 9th special call meeting. I'll entertain a motion to approve both of those.
Make a motion, we approve them as presented.
And I have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, any opposed? Laurie, are you okay? You've got everything down. You have all the
done.
paper, all the information, all the sketches you need. Is that correct? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, all those in Cobb County, you're all dismissed, and thank you very much for attending today.
It was such a long, don't you love these short hairs?